Parshat Bo continues to describe the 10 plagues, opening with the plague of Arbe. God tells Moshe to ask Paro to release Bnei Israel from Egypt, or else an 8th plague, Arbe, will invade the land of Egypt. This plague, however, seems redundant and unnecessary. The 7th plague, Barad, already destroyed the crops and trees of Egypt. Why do we need another plague that is designed to destroy the land if the land had already been destroyed in the more recent plague? There are generally 2 approaches to answering this question. Ibn Ezra sides with the majority of Mefarshim based on the Pasuk, V'achalat kol ha'etz hatzomech lecha min hasareh. Since the produce in Egypt grew back, this implies that there was a long period of time between the plagues of Barad and Arbe. Therefore, Arbe was not redundant, but rather necessary to attempt to convince Paro to release the Jews. Ramban, however, offers a different approach. Ramban holds that there were only a few days between Barad and Arbe, based on the fact the plagues did not last longer than a year, as learned from the years of Moshe's life, and as cited in Masechet Yod, that the plagues only lasted for 12 months total. Ramban also furthers his approach by quoting the Pasuk, Yeter ha'pleitah nisharet lacha min Barad. This implies that the plague of Arbe must have happened in that same year as Barad, as can be proven by the juxtaposition to the following Pasuk, Asher Yishira Barad. If this is the case, Ramban holds that the plague of Barad must have happened in the month of Adar, in that same year and not at any time earlier, since Adar is the growing season for barley and wheat. However, the Barad only destroyed the barley permanently, but not the wheat, because the wheat grew back quickly. Also, the grapevines and trees did not yet grow. Therefore, the pasuk says that kol ha'etz hasadeh shavar, because Barad destroyed the branches. There was no fruit on the branches. Afterwards, in Chodesh Nisan, the wheat started to grow, as it says, ha'pleitah nisharet lacha min Barad. The flowers started to bloom and the trees began to sprout. And this is the reason for the word atzomeach, because the Arbe came and ate all of the grains and flowers. In Nisan, Bnei Yisrael were redeemed from slavery, just like the plague of Arbe, which occurred in Nisan, according to Ramban. Despite the obvious differences between the 2 opinions, I believe each explanation is important in highlighting the importance of the plague of Arbe. At first glance, Arbe appears to be redundant, yet through further thought, Arbe is seen to be an extremely important plague and integral to the story of Yetzias Mitzrayim. Both explanations show how Arbe's role was to finish off Egypt's produce once and for all, punishing Egypt for its treatment of the Jews. Also, each explanation addresses the importance of Arbe in regards to redemption of Bnei Israel, as Arbe's role, according to Ibn Ezra, was to convince Paro to release the Jews, while Ramban notes that Arbe happened in the month of Nisan, the month in which Bnei Israel were redeemed. Another important takeaway from the plague of Arbe is the idea of finishing a job. The role of Arbe was to finish off the leftovers from the Barad. So too in life, we sometimes feel lazy and uninspired to complete a task. We can learn from the plague of Arbe of the importance in finishing off our tasks, even if it requires a lot of effort. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's Devar Torah. I hope you have a good Shabbos.